Imagine time slowing down. Not stopping. Just easing its grip a little. The noise of the modern world fades. No engines. No notifications. No rushing. The air feels softer somehow, cooler, calmer. You are no longer surrounded by concrete and screens. You are somewhere else now. We are in ancient Egypt. It is very early. The kind of early where the world feels half asleep, like it hasn't fully decided to wake up yet. The sky is painted in deep blues and soft purples, slowly lightening near the horizon. The sun is not here yet, but everyone knows it is coming. It always does. Ahead of you, the Nile River moves quietly through the land. It does not rush. It does not hurry. It simply flows, steady and patient, reflecting the first hints of dawn. This river has been doing the same thing for thousands of years, long before clocks, calendars, or deadlines ever existed. To the people of ancient Egypt, the Nile is not just water. It is life itself. It brings food. It brings trade. It brings rhythm to the year. Without it, nothing works. With it, everything makes sense. Along the riverbanks, the land slowly wakes up. Birds begin to sing, not loudly, just enough to break the silence. Somewhere nearby, you see thin trails of smoke rising into the cool air. Someone is already awake. Probably more than one someone. Bread does not make itself, after all. Mud brick houses sit close together, simple and practical. They are built from the same river mud that feeds the fields. Nothing fancy. No marble floors. No golden doors. Just homes that do their job. They stay cool inside when the sun grows hot later, which everyone appreciates more than decoration. Inside one of these homes, a man stirs on a woven reed mat. He opens his eyes slowly, not startled, not annoyed. There is no alarm clock screaming at him. No urgent reason to jump up. He stretches his arms, feeling the stiffness from yesterday's work. His feet touch the packed earth floor, cool and familiar. This is how most days begin. Nearby, his wife is already awake. She moves quietly, arranging simple household items. Clay bowls. Linen cloth. Nothing new. Nothing surprising. She has done this 1,000 times, and she will do it 1,000 more. There is comfort in that. Life here is built on routine. The ancient Egyptians did not think of time the way we do. There is no sense of racing against it. Time moves in circles, not straight lines. The sun rises. The sun sets. The Nile floods. The Nile recedes. Crops grow. Crops are harvested. Then it all happens again. Yesterday looked a lot like today. And today will look a lot like tomorrow. And that is not boring to them. It is reassuring. This sense of balance has a name. They call it Ma'at. Ma'at is order, harmony, truth, balance. It is the idea that the universe works best when everything stays in its proper place. When people do their part. When chaos is kept away, gently but firmly. You do not need to speak about Ma'at every morning. You live it. In small ways. By waking with the sun. By doing your work honestly. By treating others fairly. Even by not making a mess of things for no reason. As the sky brightens, the sun finally begins to rise. Its golden light spreads across the fields near the river. The soil there is dark and rich, left behind by the Nile's last flood. This soil is precious. It means food. It means bread. It means survival. Bread, by the way, is everything. Most meals revolve around it. If you have bread and beer, you are doing okay. And most people are doing okay. Ancient Egypt, for ordinary people, is not a land of endless luxury. But it is also not constant struggle. There is enough. Enough food. Enough work. Enough rest. And for them, that is enough. Outside, more people begin to stir. A neighbor steps out of his home, rubbing sleep from his eyes. Someone laughs quietly at a joke that barely makes sense this early in the morning. Children are still asleep, tangled in linen blankets, dreaming of things we will never know. The day begins gently. There is no rush to conquer the world. No pressure to be special. Everyone knows their role. Farmers farm. Builders build. Craftsmen craft. And that role is not a cage. It is a place to stand. As the sun climbs higher, its warmth grows stronger. Soon, work will begin in earnest. Fields will be tended. Tools will be lifted. Tasks will be repeated, just as they were yesterday. But for now, there is this moment. The cool air. The soft light. The steady sound of the Nile. Somewhere above, the sun god Ra is beginning his daily journey across the sky, sailing his sacred boat. The fact that he rises again is a small miracle, repeated every day. And every day it brings comfort. Because as long as the sun rises, the world is still in balance. This is not the Egypt of grand monuments and mighty pharaohs. Not yet. This is the quiet Egypt. The Egypt where real life happens. Where history is not shouted, but whispered. And this is the day we will follow. From this calm morning, into the heat of work, the simplicity of meals, the slow rest of afternoon, and finally into night, beneath a sky filled with stars and silence. So breathe. Relax your shoulders. There is nowhere to rush to. The day has only just begun. The sun has not climbed very high yet. It does not rush. It never has. It rises slowly over the horizon, as if it understands something we forgot a long time ago. The land does not like to be hurried, and neither do the people who live on it. In ancient Egypt, the day does not begin with noise. There is no sudden alarm, no sharp sound demanding attention. The day begins with light. Soft golden rays slip quietly through doorways, small windows, and cracks in mud brick walls. The light touches the floor first, then the walls, then the sleeping faces of the household, waking them gently, one by one. No one jumps up in panic. Waking early is not a rule written anywhere. It just makes sense. The morning is cool. The heat will come later, and everyone knows it. You work when the sun is kind. Inside the home, people rise from woven reed mats laid directly on the floor. Some sleep on simple wooden beds. Heads rest on curved headrests made of wood or stone. To us, they might look uncomfortable. To them, it is normal. Besides, bad posture is a future problem. Bare feet touch the ground. The floor is cool. That feeling alone is enough to fully wake you. The first thing of the day is not work. It is cleansing. Cleanliness in ancient Egypt is not just about dirt. It is about order. And order is important. Very important. Clean body, calm mind, balanced world. Simple logic. Water is brought from clay jars filled earlier, or drawn directly from the Nile. Faces are washed. Arms. Legs. Sometimes the whole body. No fancy soap here, just natural mixtures of oils, salts, and clays. They work well enough. And they smell acceptable. The washing is slow. Almost peaceful. No one rushes it. You do this every day. There is no need to improvise. Afterward, scented oils are applied to the skin. This is not luxury. This is survival. The sun is strong. The air is dry. Oil protects the skin and keeps it from cracking like old pottery. The scents are soft. Flowers. Herbs. Resins. Nothing loud. Nothing sharp. Just enough to feel human. The smell mixes with the cool morning air and creates a strange feeling of comfort. Like everything is exactly where it should be. Next comes hair. Because of the heat, many people shave their heads. Men and women alike. Less hair means less heat, less sweat, fewer insects trying to move in without permission. On special days, wigs are worn. Carefully made. Carefully styled. They can be fancy, but today is not that day. Today is an ordinary day. And ordinary days do not need extra drama. Those who keep their hair short clean it carefully. Neat. Simple. No wasted effort. Nothing here is excessive. Nothing is rushed. Clothing comes next. Linen garments, light and pale in color. White, off-white, soft beige. Linen breathes. Linen behaves. Linen understands the desert. Farmers and laborers wear simple wraps and tunics. No decoration. No extra layers. Jewelry is minimal, if any. Gold is nice, but heat is not impressed by it. Sandals made of leather or woven plant fibers sit near the doorway. Some people take them. Others leave them. Barefoot is perfectly acceptable. The ground feels real, honest. Before stepping outside, many pause. Just for a moment. In one corner of the home, there may be a small space set aside for the gods. Not a temple. Not something grand. Just a figure. An amulet. A small bowl for offerings. A short prayer is whispered. No speech. No performance. Just a quiet thank you. And a simple request. Let today be balanced. By now, the sun has climbed higher. Its light spreads across the village paths, the fields, and the calm surface of the Nile. The river reflects the sky like it always has, completely uninterested in human concerns. Children begin to wake. Some sit up slowly, eyes half open, clearly questioning reality. Others wake full of energy, already moving, already talking. These are the children who will be tired later. Very tired. They help with small tasks. Fetching water. Sweeping the floor. Watching younger siblings. No one explains this as responsibility. It is just life. Learning begins early here. Not with books. With watching. Repeating. Trying. Messing up. Trying again. Education starts at home. The morning meal is simple. Bread. Always bread. Made from barley or wheat, baked the day before. Sometimes fruit joins the meal. Dates. Figs. Whatever is available. The drink is usually beer. Mild. Cloudy. Low in alcohol. Safe to drink. Full of nutrients. And yes, children drink it too. Different times. The meal is short. Functional. No long discussions. The day is waiting. Outside, the village slowly comes alive. Men walk toward the fields, tools over their shoulders. Artisans open small workshops, checking tools, stretching hands that will soon be busy. Fishermen guide narrow boats onto the river, poles dipping quietly into the water. Everything moves with purpose, but without stress. No one is late. There is nothing to be late for. Time here is not an enemy. It does not chase you. It walks beside you. Calm. Patient. Always moving, but never pushing. Before leaving, some people fasten small amulets around their necks. Scarabs. Sacred eyes. Symbols of protection. They do not guarantee anything, but they remind you that the gods are near. Watching. Maintaining balance. Hopefully in a good mood today. With clean bodies and calm minds, people step out into the sunlight. The heat is still gentle. The hard work will come soon enough. For now, there is peace. The path is familiar. The routine is known. The world feels steady. As the people move away from their homes, the village remains behind. Quiet. Shaded. Holding the cool air inside its walls. Waiting patiently for their return later. Ancient Egypt has awakened. Not with shouting. Not with urgency. But with calm. And so, gently, the day continues. As the morning moves on, the sun climbs higher. Not fast. Never fast. Its warmth spreads slowly across the land, touching rooftops, paths, and fields like a careful hand. The light grows stronger. The shadows shrink. And everyone knows what that means. It is a good moment to step back indoors. Outside is for work. Inside is for balance. The houses of ancient Egypt are simple, but smart. Very smart. Built mostly from mud brick, shaped by hand from Nile silt mixed with straw. The bricks are left under the sun to dry, which feels a little poetic, since the sun will later try its best to destroy everything it touches. Mud brick fights back. These walls keep the heat out and the cool air in. No technology. No fans. Just experience and common sense passed down through generations. From the outside, the homes look modest. Flat roofs. Soft earth colors. No sharp edges. No bright paint. They blend into the landscape like they were always meant to be there. Nothing is trying to impress anyone. But step inside, and you enter a space that feels calm and organized. A place that knows what it is doing. The doorway usually opens into a main room. One room, many purposes. Eating, talking, working, resting. Sometimes all of these at once. There is not much furniture. No extra stuff. No clutter. If something is inside the house, it probably has a job. Low wooden stools sit near the walls. Simple tables. Storage chests pressed neatly into corners. Clay jars stand quietly, holding grain, water, oil. They look heavy, and they are. Do not drop one. Oil lamps wait in shaded spots, ready for evening. They are not lit now. The sun does enough work during the day. The walls are plain, sometimes smoothed with plaster. In richer homes, they might be painted with soft colors or simple patterns. Nothing loud. Nothing flashy. The beauty comes from calm, not decoration. Light enters through the doorway and small openings near the roof. There is no glass. No curtains. Just sunlight and shadow playing slowly across the walls as the hours pass. The air inside stays cool. Many homes are built around a small courtyard. This open space helps air move through the house and gives the family a private area for daily tasks. It is the heart of the home. Here, grain is ground into flour using heavy stone tools. The sound is steady, rhythmic, almost like a slow drumbeat. Not annoying. More like background music for life. Clothes are washed nearby. Food is prepared. Conversations drift in and out, mixed with the sound of work. Women often spend much of their day here. Their work never really stops, but it is familiar. Learned young. Perfected over time. Hands move without thinking too much. The body knows what to do. Men return home between periods of labor. They sit in the shade. Drink water. Share short meals. Rest just long enough to feel human again. Children move freely through the space. They sit on the floor. They play with small toys made of clay or wood. Animals. Balls. Things that break easily and teach important lessons. They also watch the adults closely. This is how learning works here. No formal lessons. No speeches. You watch. You copy. You try. You fail. You try again. Work and life are not separate things. They flow together. Like the Nile. Always moving, never arguing about it. In one corner of the home, sleeping mats are rolled up and stored during the day. At night, they will return. The same space becomes a bedroom again. No complaints. Privacy, as we understand it, does not really exist. But closeness creates something else. A sense of safety. You are never truly alone. Someone is always nearby. Sometimes too nearby, but still. The roof of the house is flat and often used as extra living space. Early in the morning or late in the evening, people sit there to catch a breeze. They talk quietly. They watch the village. Or they say nothing at all. From the rooftops, the sounds of life float gently through the air. Voices. Footsteps. The distant call of birds near the river. Somewhere, someone laughs. Somewhere else, someone drops something and pretends it was on purpose. In larger towns, some houses belong to officials, scribes, or skilled craftsmen. These homes are bigger. More rooms. Sometimes decorated walls. Maybe even a bit of color. But even here, the design stays practical. Comfort matters. Excess does not. Everything in the home has a purpose. There is a place for storage. A place for cooking. A place for rest. Nothing is random. Nothing is wasted. This order inside the home reflects order in the world outside. Maat lives here too. A well-kept home is not just clean. It is balanced. When the household is in harmony, the world feels easier to understand. As the day grows warmer, the house becomes a refuge. Outside, the sun is bright and demanding. Inside, there is shade. Stillness. A sense of pause. A woman kneels by the grinding stone, preparing flour for later. Her movements are slow, smooth, unhurried. She has done this countless times. Her hands know the rhythm better than her mind does. Nearby, a child sits quietly, then slowly leans against the wall. Eyes closing. The steady sounds of the house lull them into a short sleep. No one rushes to stop it. Rest is allowed here. The home seems to breathe. Not loudly, not deeply, just enough. There is no urgency in this space. No clock watching. The hours pass gently, measured by light, shadow, and habit. In these mud brick walls, life continues the same way it always has. The same movements, the same routines, passed from parent to child, from one generation to the next. And in that repetition, there is comfort. The home is more than shelter. It is the center of daily life. The place where the world feels organized, where things make sense. As the sun continues its slow journey across the sky, the village settles into its rhythm. Work outside, rest inside, movement and stillness sharing the day. Calm, predictable, balanced. And so, quietly, the day moves forward. As the sun climbs higher into the sky, the village settles into its rhythm. Not fast, not slow, just steady. By now, the light is strong. Shadows shrink and hide close to walls. The air feels warmer, heavier. And somewhere between one task and the next, hunger arrives. Not loudly, not urgently. It shows up like an old friend who never needs an invitation. In ancient Egypt, food is simple, familiar, expected. It is not about choice or variety. It is about rhythm, about knowing what comes next. And what comes next is bread. Bread is everything here. Not a side dish, not a bonus. The center of the meal. Bread is food, yes. But it is also security, reliability, proof that life is still working the way it should. As long as there is bread, things are okay. The grain that becomes bread begins its journey in the fields along the Nile. Dark soil, flooded land, seeds pushed into earth that knows exactly what to do with them. After harvest, the grain is brought home and stored carefully in large clay jars. These jars matter a lot. They sit quietly against the walls, holding months of effort inside them. No one opens them without reason. Grain is life. You do not waste life. When it is time to prepare food, only what is needed is taken. In the courtyard or main room, women kneel beside flat grinding stones. The stones are smooth from years of use. They know this job well. A handful of grain is placed between the stones, and the slow work begins. Stone against stone. Back and forth. Again. Again. The sound is steady. Almost calming. If you listened long enough, you might fall asleep. Many probably have. Grinding grain takes time. It always has. It always will. And because it happens every day, the body learns the rhythm. Hands move without thinking. Muscles do the work. The mind wanders where it wants. Sometimes, it wanders to nothing at all. The flour that forms is not perfect. It is coarse. Sometimes gritty. Small bits of stone sneak in now and then. Teeth are strong here. They learn to adapt. Water is added. Sometimes a bit of yeast saved from a previous batch. Hands knead the dough gently. Press. Fold. Turn. Repeat. No measuring. No instructions. Just experience. The dough is shaped and baked in simple clay ovens or placed directly on heated surfaces. The fire does the rest. Soon, the smell of bread fills the air. Warm. Earthy. Comforting. It drifts through doorways and courtyards, reminding everyone that it is time to stop working for a moment. Alongside bread comes beer. This is not the beer you are thinking of. It is not clear. It is not cold. And it is definitely not fancy. But it is important. This beer is thick, cloudy, mild, made from fermented grain. It provides calories, nutrients, hydration, and most importantly, it is safe to drink. Water from the Nile is life, but untreated water can be risky. Beer solves that problem nicely. Children drink it. Adults drink it. No one makes a big deal about it. It is just another part of food. Meals themselves are simple. Vegetables appear often. Onions, garlic, leeks, lentils. Sometimes raw. Sometimes boiled. sometimes tossed together into something that could be called a stew if you are feeling generous. Fish from the Nile shows up regularly, especially for families near the river. Some is eaten fresh. Some is dried in the sun and saved for later. It smells strong. Very strong. But hunger does not complain much. Meat is rare for most people. It is not an everyday thing. When it appears, it usually means something special is happening. A festival. A celebration. A religious event. When there is meat, it is shared. No one eats alone. Fruit adds small moments of sweetness. Dates are common. Figs too. Occasionally grapes. These are not desserts. Just quiet reminders that life can be pleasant sometimes. Meals are eaten in the shade. People sit on the ground or on low stools. There are no tables like we know them. No plates stacked neatly. Food is placed in simple bowls or shared directly. There is no formal order. No ceremony. Conversation stays quiet. The heat makes long discussions feel unnecessary. Eating is not rushed, but it is not a performance either. You eat. You drink. You feel better. Children eat with adults. Always. There are no separate meals. No special treatment. They watch. They copy. They learn when to reach and when to wait. Food teaches patience. Leftovers are saved carefully. Bread wrapped. Fish dried. Grain returned to its jar. Nothing is thrown away. Waste is not careless. It is dangerous. Everyone understands this. As the meal ends, the heat of midday settles in fully. The sun is high now. Strong. Demanding. The kind of heat that tells you very clearly to stop moving for a while. Work pauses. People retreat into the shade of their homes. Doors remain open to let air pass through. Inside, the world becomes quieter. Softer. A jug of water rests in the corner. Its porous surface allows evaporation to cool it naturally. No one calls this technology. It is just how things are done. A piece of bread sits nearby, saved for later. There is no rush to finish everything now. Outside, the village hums faintly. Insects buzz. Birds call. Somewhere, someone is still working, but not many. Inside, there is stillness. Someone lies down briefly on a mat. Not deep sleep. Just rest. Enough to let the body reset. A child dozes off without asking permission. No one minds. Food in ancient Egypt is not about indulgence. It is not about choice. It is not about excitement. It is about balance. Enough to sustain the body. Enough to carry on. Enough to reach the next moment. And with that quiet nourishment, life continues. The sun will move. The shadows will return. Work will begin again. But for now, there is bread in the stomach, shade on the walls, and time moving exactly as it should. Slow. Steady. Unbothered. And so, gently, the day goes on. As the heat of the day settles over the land, life does not stop. It simply adjusts. In ancient Egypt, work is never chaotic. No shouting. No frantic movement. No one is trying to beat the clock, mostly because there is no clock to beat. Labor follows something older and far more patient. The river. The seasons. The sun. Most people here are connected to the land in one way or another. Even if you are not a farmer, your life still depends on farming. Everyone knows this. No one argues with it. The Nile is the reason. Each year, the river rises and spreads across the fields, flooding the land without apology. It leaves behind a thick layer of dark soil. Rich soil. The kind that smells alive. This flooding is not feared. It is expected. Welcomed. Celebrated. When the waters finally retreat, farmers return to their fields like old friends meeting again. They walk barefoot across the soft earth. Shoes would only get in the way. Simple wooden plows cut through the soil, pulled slowly by oxen who look like they have done this their entire lives. Which they have. Seeds are scattered by hand. No machines. No rows measured with perfection. Just practiced movements. Seeds fall where they fall. The land knows what to do. Sometimes animals are led across the fields to press the seeds into the soil. not elegant. Very effective. The work is repetitive, physical, predictable. And because it happens every year, the body stops complaining. Muscles learn. Hands learn. Even the mind learns when not to think too much. No one fights the land here. That would be foolish. The land provides, as long as it is respected. During the growing season, farmers watch their crops carefully. They watch the sky, the river, the color of the leaves. They know when something feels off. Experience teaches faster than words ever could. Work happens early in the morning and later in the afternoon. Midday belongs to the sun, and the sun does not negotiate. When the heat grows heavy, people slow down. Rest is not laziness. It is strategy. Between planting and harvest, other work fills the days. Craftsmen shape clay into pottery. Wet earth spins slowly on simple wheels. Hands guide it gently, turning nothing into something useful. Bowls, jars, storage vessels, things that will quietly serve for years. If the pot collapses, no one panics. Clay forgives mistakes. You just try again. Carpenters work nearby, shaping wood with simple tools. No power saws. No sparks flying. Each cut is measured. Careful. Waste is avoided. Wood is valuable. Boats, furniture, tools, all made by hand. Slowly, correctly. Weavers sit at looms, turning flax fibers into linen. Threads move back and forth. Over, under, again, again. The motion is steady, calming, hypnotic, even. If you stare too long, you might forget what time it is. Which is fine. Time is not in charge here. In workshops and open courtyards, the sounds of work blend together. Soft tapping, scraping, the quiet murmur of voices. No loud machines. No sharp noises. Just people doing what they know how to do. Some men work as builders. They help construct temples, tombs, and public buildings. Their labor is organized and seasonal. Often it happens when the fields are flooded and farming is paused. This work is not punishment. It is service. Service to the community. Service to the gods. Service to Marat, the balance that holds everything together. To build something lasting is an honor, even if your name is never remembered. Scribes move quietly through these spaces. They watch. They listen. They write. Reed pens scratch softly against papyrus as they record grain amounts, labor counts, supplies. They do not shout orders. They observe. Their power is quiet, but essential. Without records, nothing flows properly. Even animals are part of the working day. Donkeys carry goods along dusty paths, patient and stubborn at the same time. Oxen pull plows without complaint. Dogs rest in the shade, eyes half open, pretending to sleep while watching everything. Animals work. Animals rest. Same rules apply. Children are everywhere. They help in small ways. Carrying tools. Fetching water. Running messages. Sometimes they help. Sometimes they mostly get in the way. This is also how they learn. Work is not something children are shielded from. It is something they grow into. There is no sharp line between labor and life. Work is life. When the body needs to pause, it pauses. When the task needs finishing, it is finished. No one forces productivity. No one measures worth by speed. The sun decides when enough is enough. As the afternoon moves on, the light begins to change. Shadows stretch longer across the fields. The air cools just a little. Enough to notice. Enough to breathe easier. Hands slow. Movements soften. Tools are set aside without ceremony. No one rushes home. People walk back along familiar paths. Feet dusty. Shoulders relaxed. Minds calm. There is no stress about unfinished work. Tomorrow exists. Everyone trusts that. The work of the day is done, not because every task is complete, but because the sun has moved on. That is how endings work here. Tomorrow will bring the same rhythm, the same labor, the same path, and that is not depressing. It is comforting. In ancient Egypt, work is not about endless progress. There is no finish line waiting somewhere in the distance. It is about continuity, doing what must be done, then doing it again and again. As long as the river flows and the sun rises, life remains balanced, steady, quietly enduring. And with the day's labor complete, the land exhales. So do the people. And the sun, satisfied for now, begins its slow descent. Away from the fields and workshops, another kind of work is happening. It is slower, quieter, and far less sweaty. But do not be fooled. This work matters just as much as plowing a field or shaping a pot. Maybe more. This is the world of learning. In ancient Egypt, knowledge is not something everyone has access to. It is rare. And because it is rare, it is powerful. Those who can read and write stand apart from the rest of society. They are the scribes. Scribes do not dig. They do not hammer. They do not grind grain until their arms feel like stone. They sit. They observe. They write. And somehow, by doing that, they help keep the entire country running. Learning to write is not easy. Not even a little. Ancient Egyptian writing is full of symbols, sounds, meanings, and rules that do not care if you are tired or bored. Most children never learn it. Education is limited, usually reserved for boys from families connected to temples, administration, or skilled professions. If your father is a farmer, chances are you will be too. If your father is a scribe, then maybe, just maybe, you get a chance. From a young age, students gather in quiet rooms. Sometimes inside temples. Sometimes near administrative buildings. They sit on the floor, legs crossed, holding wooden writing boards or flat pieces of limestone. No desks. No chairs. No complaining allowed. In front of them are symbols. So many symbols. They copy them again and again. One sign. One word. One phrase. Over and over, until their hands remember even when their minds try to escape. Repetition is everything. You do not rush through lessons. You do not move on until you get it right. Writing is memory. Memory is discipline. Teachers oversee the students with calm authority. They correct mistakes. They demand attention. They expect effort. This is not chaos. This is training. Mistakes happen. Of course they do. When you are learning hundreds of symbols, mistakes are unavoidable. But mistakes are not ignored. They are corrected. Sometimes firmly. Learning here is quiet, but it is serious. Writing tools are simple, but precious. Reed pens, cut carefully to a point. Ink made from soot or minerals, usually black for normal text and red for emphasis. Papyrus sheets prepared from river plants, pressed and dried until they form a smooth surface. Papyrus is not cheap. You do not waste it. Every stroke matters. Every line must be clear. A scribe's writing is not just information. It is art. Neat. Balanced. Controlled. There is no erase button. If you mess up badly, everyone knows. Through writing, students learn much more than symbols. They learn patience, focus, control. They learn how to sit still while the world outside moves on without them. Not easy skills. Very useful ones. As students grow older, their role becomes clearer. They begin to assist real scribes. Watching. Carrying materials. Copying simple records. Learning how writing fits into real life. Some scribes work for temples. They record offerings, prayers, rituals, and sacred texts. They write about the gods, their stories, their rules, their balance. Others work for the state. These scribes track harvests, taxes, labor, supplies. Who owes what? Who delivered grain? Who showed up to work? Not glamorous. Extremely important. They sit in shaded areas, often near busy places. Markets, fields, construction sites. They do not interrupt. They observe. Then they write. Quietly. Without scribes, grain cannot be counted properly. Labor cannot be organized. Supplies disappear. Arguments begin. Balance is lost. Writing supports Marat. Balance depends on records, on fairness, on knowing what is owed and what is given. A good scribe keeps chaos away, one careful line at a time. Inside the learning space, the air feels different. Still. Focused. A young student bends over his writing board, copying the same sentence again and again. His hand is tired. His fingers ache. He shifts slightly, then keeps going. Nearby, another student whispers the words under his breath. Saying them helps remember them. Saying them also helps stay awake. Outside, life is loud by comparison. People walk. Tools strike. Animals call. The Nile flows. Inside, time moves slower. This is how knowledge survives. Not through speeches. Not through inspiration. Through repetition. Day after day. Line after line. Student after student. For those who succeed, the rewards are not riches. Most scribes do not live in luxury. But they live with stability, respect, protection from the hardest labor. A scribe does not plow fields in the heat. He does not carry stones under the sun. His hands stay clean. This is not arrogance. It is simply how society is structured. Everyone has a place. As the afternoon light begins to fade, lessons come to an end. There is no bell. No announcement. The sun decides. Writing boards are stacked. Reed pens are cleaned carefully. Papyrus is rolled and stored safely. Ink pots are sealed. Students rise quietly. No running. No shouting. They step back into the world outside, carrying something invisible with them. Discipline. Focus. The habit of attention. In ancient Egypt, education is rare. But where it exists, it shapes everything. It keeps records straight. It keeps society organized. It keeps balance intact. It does all of this without noise. Without drama. As the sun lowers toward the horizon, the work of knowledge rests. It does not end. It pauses. Tomorrow, the same symbols will be copied again. The same lessons repeated. The same quiet effort continued. And in that steady repetition, civilization holds together. Quietly. Patiently. One line at a time. As the day moves gently forward, faith is already there. It does not arrive loudly. It does not demand attention. It simply exists. In ancient Egypt, belief is not something saved for special days or grand buildings. It is woven quietly into everything. Into the way people wake. The way they work. The way they eat. Even the way they rest. The gods are everywhere. They are in the sun rising each morning, doing its job without complaint. They are in the Nile, flowing steadily, never forgetting where it needs to go. They are in the seasons, returning again and again, right on time. For most people, religion is not dramatic. It is personal, practical, almost casual, but never careless. Inside many homes, there is a small space set aside for devotion. Not a full altar. Not a shrine that takes up the whole room. Just a corner. A shelf. A small niche in the wall. On it sits a simple figure, maybe carved from wood or clay. Or an amulet. Or a symbol scratched into the surface. Often it represents a god the family feels close to. Someone reliable. Someone who listens. Every morning and evening, small offerings are made. A piece of bread. A sip of beer. A few quiet words. Nothing fancy. No speeches. No performance. These moments are brief and familiar. Like greeting a neighbor you see every day. You do not need to explain yourself. You just acknowledge each other. The purpose is not to impress the gods. It is to maintain balance. People believe that if they honor the gods through small, steady actions, the gods will respond in kind. Protection. Health. A good harvest. A calm day. Nothing extravagant. Just enough. Throughout the day, amulets are worn close to the body. Small objects shaped like eyes, scarabs, animals, or sacred signs. They hang from cords around the neck or are sewn into clothing. Some are smooth from years of being touched without thinking. These amulets are quiet companions. They remind people that they are not alone. That unseen forces are nearby, watching, guiding, hopefully protecting. Protection is always needed. From illness, from accidents, from things that cannot be seen or explained. Life feels safer when something is watching over you, even if you are not entirely sure how it works. Temples stand at the center of towns and cities. Solid, impressive, carefully maintained. But most people do not enter them often. Temples are not casual places. They are sacred spaces, cared for by priests who serve the gods on behalf of everyone else. This is their full-time work, and they take it seriously. Inside the temples, the gods are treated like living beings. Statues are washed each day, dressed in clean garments, offered food and drink. Incense fills the air. Doors are opened and closed with care. The gods must be cared for properly. If they are neglected, balance suffers. Priests move through these rituals quietly. Their actions are precise, measured, the same steps in the same order every single day. No improvising. Consistency is everything. The power of these rituals does not come from creativity. It comes from repetition. From doing the same thing the same way, day after day, without interruption. Through this steady devotion, Ma'at is preserved. Order remains. Chaos stays away. Festivals bring color into this calm routine. On those days, the streets fill with music, drums, singing, processions carrying offerings. The gods are celebrated openly, joyfully. Food is shared. Laughter is louder. But even festivals follow tradition. They are planned, structured, repeated each year in familiar ways. Celebration does not replace order. It exists within it. Religion here is not about fear. The gods are powerful, yes. But they are not distant. They are not unreachable. They are part of daily life. You do not need to shout to be heard. As the day continues, faith moves quietly with the people. A farmer pauses before planting seeds, whispering a short prayer. Not for wealth, just for growth. A mother touches an amulet as her child leaves the house, hoping for a safe return. A craftsman finishes a piece of work and offers a quiet word of thanks. The clay held. The tool did not break. That matters. None of this stops the day. None of it draws attention. It simply happens. There is no clear line between the sacred and the ordinary. They are not separate categories. Everything is connected. Work can be sacred. Food can be sacred. Rest can be sacred. As the sun begins its slow descent, the light softens. Shadows stretch across walls and paths. The heat eases, just a little. Faith does not change with the hour. The gods do not clock out. They watch as they always have. The river continues to flow. The land breathes. People carry on, comforted by the idea that the world is held together by something larger than themselves. Something steady. Something familiar. In ancient Egypt, belief is not loud. It is not flashy. It does not demand attention. It is like the Nile. Always there. Always moving. Always supporting life, whether you notice it or not. And in that quiet assurance, the people find peace. Day after day. As the afternoon light softens, attention turns inward. Not toward gods. Not toward work. But toward the bonds that quietly hold everything together. In ancient Egypt, family is the center of life. Nothing exists alone. Life is shared. Most households are built around close relationships. Husbands and wives. Parents and children. Sometimes grandparents, cousins, or other relatives living under the same roof or just next door. Walls are close. Lives are closer. Privacy is limited. Connection is not. Marriage here is simple and practical. There are no grand public ceremonies for most people. No long processions. No dramatic vows spoken in front of crowds. A couple becomes married by beginning life together. By sharing a home. By sharing food. By sharing work. That is enough. Husband and wife are seen as partners. Not identical, but balanced. Each has responsibilities, but neither is considered small or unimportant. A household only works if both sides do their part. Women manage the home. They prepare food, organize daily life, raise children, and keep everything moving smoothly. Many also work outside the home, trading goods or producing crafts. Busy does not even begin to cover it. Men work in fields, workshops, or administration. Their labor is physical or structured, often tiring. But when the day ends, they return home. Family life does not belong to one person. It belongs to everyone. Respect between partners is expected. This is not just an idea. It is written down. Legal documents show that women in ancient Egypt have rights. Real ones. They can own property, inherit wealth, sign contracts, even initiate divorce if the marriage no longer works. This independence brings balance. Marriage is not about control. It is about cooperation. When that cooperation fails, change is allowed. Quietly, practically, without drama. Children are welcomed and valued. From infancy, they are cared for closely. Wrapped, protected, watched over. Small amulets are placed near them or sewn into their clothing. Gentle rituals are performed to keep illness and danger away. Life is fragile. Everyone knows it. Names are chosen with care. Often they carry meaning. Sometimes they include the name of a god, a hope built directly into the child's identity. As children grow, they are not separated from daily life. There is no special children's world. They learn by being present. A young boy follows his father into the fields or workshop. He watches. He listens. He imitates movements that seem meaningless now but will matter later. A young girl stays close to her mother. She learns household tasks slowly, through repetition. Grinding grain. Preparing food. Organizing space. Nothing is rushed. No one sits them down and explains everything. They observe. Play exists, but it is simple. Children play with dolls made of cloth or wood. Small balls. Spinning tops. Board games scratched into stone. Games that require patience and attention. Laughter appears easily. Even in a world built on routine, joy finds its way in. Children chase each other. Tease each other. Learn limits without realizing it. Education is uneven. Most children do not attend formal schools. Their education comes from daily life. From watching. From doing. From making mistakes and being corrected. Only a small number are chosen for scribal training. Those children are taken aside, taught symbols and discipline. Their lives follow a different path. For everyone else, family is the classroom. Meals bring people together. Even if the food is simple. Even if the time is short. Everyone eats from the same space. Food is shared, reinforcing connection. No one eats alone if it can be avoided. It is not about luxury. It is about togetherness. Elders are respected. Their bodies may slow, but their knowledge does not. They understand the seasons, the customs, the rhythms that younger people are still learning. They are living memory. When elders speak, people listen. Not because they are forced to, but because experience matters. As the day moves closer to evening, families gather within shaded spaces of their homes. Work slows. Voices soften. The heat fades, just enough to breathe easier. Stories begin. Not written stories. Spoken ones. Stories of gods who walked the earth. Of ancestors who lived long ago. Of strange events that happened before your time. These stories are not written down. They do not need to be. They live through repetition. Affection is shown quietly. A hand placed on a child's shoulder. A shared smile between partners. A low conversation at the end of the day. No grand gestures. Just presence. Life in ancient Egypt is not easy. Nature is powerful. The gods are watching. The future is never guaranteed. But family provides security. A place to belong. A structure that holds even when everything else feels uncertain. Through shared labor, shared meals, and shared rest, bonds grow stronger. No speeches are needed. As the sun lowers toward the horizon, the household settles. The work of the day fades into memory. What remains is togetherness. And in that togetherness, there is peace. As the day moves gently toward late afternoon, attention shifts again. Not to work, not to family, but to the body. How it feels, how it is cared for, how it moves through the world. In ancient Egypt, appearance is not about vanity. No mirrors for flexing. No obsession with impressing strangers. It is about comfort, health, and harmony. The body must function well. If it does, life flows better. Clothing starts with the climate. The sun is strong. The air is dry. Heat is not a visitor, it lives here. So clothes are designed to work with the weather, not fight it. Nearly everyone wears linen. Farmers, craftsmen, officials, priests. Linen is everywhere. It comes from flax, grown near the river. Harvested carefully. Dried. Spun into thread. Woven slowly, patiently. No machines rushing the process. Just hands and time. Most clothing is simple in shape. Men usually wear short kilts or wraparound garments. Easy to move in. Easy to adjust. Easy to wash. Women wear straight dresses held up by straps over the shoulders. No extra layers. No heavy fabric pulling them down. Children wear very little. Often nothing at all when they are small. Not because of neglect. Because it is practical. Kids grow fast. Linen does not. Colors stay light. White, cream, pale beige. Dark colors trap heat. Light colors reflect it. People here know this without ever writing it down. Fashion follows common sense. Decoration is minimal in daily life. Even those with higher status keep things calm. They may wear finer linen, better weaving, a few pleats that catch the light just right. But daily wear is still daily wear. This is not a culture of excess during work hours. Footwear is optional. Sandals exist, made from leather or woven plant fibers. They are useful for long walks or rough ground. But many people prefer to go barefoot. Feet know the earth, the sand, the stone. There is no rush to separate from it. Personal care matters. The heat brings sweat. Dust sticks to skin. Insects do not ask permission. So washing is not luxury. It is survival. Morning and evening, people clean themselves. Water is poured. Hands scrub. No rush. Oils come next. Made from plants. Flowers. Sometimes animal fats. Rubbed gently into the skin. They protect from dryness. From cracking. From the sun pulling moisture away. The skin gets a soft sheen. Not shiny. Just healthy. Perfume exists, but it is subtle. No clouds of scent floating through the streets. Just a light smell of flowers or herbs, noticeable only if you are close. Hair care is practical too. Many people shave their heads. Not as fashion. As comfort. Short hair stays cooler. Avoids lice. Needs less cleaning. It just makes sense. Wigs are worn sometimes. Especially by those with status. Carefully made. Cleaned. Stored properly. They are not casual items. They come out for special moments. For those who keep their hair, it stays neat. Short cuts. Tight braids. Nothing wild. Nothing heavy. Eyes are outlined with kohl. Dark mineral powder. Applied carefully. This is not just decoration. It protects the eyes from the sun's glare. Helps prevent infection. Keeps flies from getting too close. Practical beauty. Both men and women use it. No one questions it. Jewelry is worn, but with purpose. Necklaces. Bracelets. Rings. Not many at once. Often they carry meaning. An eye for protection. A scarab for renewal. An animal symbol tied to a god. Small objects. Big comfort. They sit against the skin all day, reminding the wearer that unseen forces are nearby and hopefully friendly. There is a quiet dignity in how people present themselves. No rushing. No overdoing it. Care for the body is part of respecting life itself. The body is a gift. From the gods. From the river. From the balance of the world. Ignoring it would be disrespectful. This is Marat in action. Balance. Order. Care. As the afternoon light grows warmer and softer, people refresh themselves again. A rinse of water. A bit more oil. Adjusting linen that has loosened during the day. Nothing dramatic. Just preparation. Not to impress anyone. To feel right. The body feels clean. Comfortable. Ready for the evening. As the sun continues its slow descent, the day feels complete in its small details. Every repeated action matters. Washing. Dressing. Oiling. Braiding. Walking barefoot. These things are not written in stone, but they live in daily habit. Passed down without instruction. And in that quiet rhythm, the people of ancient Egypt move gently toward evening. Calm. Balanced. Unhurried. As the heat of the day begins to soften, people slowly turn outward again. The sun is still there, of course. Still warm. Still watching. But it is no longer pressing down like a heavy hand on the land. Shadows stretch. Air moves again. And paths that were quiet during midday begin to fill with footsteps. This is the time of exchange. In ancient Egypt, markets are not loud places. No shouting prices. No rushing crowds. No one sprinting around like they forgot something important. The market feels calm. Familiar. Almost relaxed. It is not a special event. It happens every day. And because of that, no one is in a hurry. There is no money like we know it. No coins. No paper. No jingling sounds in pockets. Trade works through barter. You bring what you have. You leave with what you need. A farmer arrives carrying baskets of grain, balanced carefully, like he has done 1,000 times before. A fisherman walks in from the river, his catch wrapped and ready, still smelling like water and reeds. A potter lays out rows of clay vessels on the ground. Bowls, jars, cups, all slightly different. All made by the same steady hands. Nothing flashy. Just useful things. Cloth is folded neatly. Tools are placed where they can be seen. Food sits in the shade, protected from the sun. Everything here has value. But not because it is rare. Because it works. People move slowly between the goods. They stop. They look. They nod. Conversations are gentle. Is this from today? Yes, from this morning. That will last us 2 days. People greet each other by name. They already know one another. These are not strangers meeting for the first time. These exchanges happen again and again. Trust has been built over seasons, not minutes. A woman offers bread and beer in exchange for onions and a small jar. She does not argue loudly. She does not apologize. She knows the worth of what she brings. Women play a strong role here. They trade cloth they wove themselves. Bread they baked that morning. Beer they brewed at home. They negotiate calmly, confidently. No raised voices. No dramatic gestures. Just quiet agreement. Children move through the market like small shadows. Some carry light items. Some sit nearby, playing with sticks or stones. Others just watch. They see how people talk, how they wait, how they agree without shouting. This is how they learn. Markets are not only for goods. They are places for news. Not big news. Small things. So and so is ill. The river is rising earlier this year. There may be a festival soon. Information moves slowly, like everything else here. Nothing explodes into excitement. It simply spreads. Occasionally, something unfamiliar appears. Copper tools that shine a little more than usual. Incense with a scent not from this land. Small stones that catch the light differently. These items traveled far. Along the river. Across the desert. Their arrival brings quiet curiosity. People look. They touch. They nod. Then they move on. Most are content with what they already know. As the sun lowers further, the market begins to thin. Trades finish. Baskets grow lighter. Hands close around what was agreed upon. There is no bell to signal the end. People simply drift away. Goods are packed. Cloth is folded. Tools are lifted carefully. Footprints remain in the dust. And the memory of brief conversation. Social life here does not demand attention. No one asks, "Why didn't you come?" No one worries about missing out. Connection is woven into routine. You meet people because you live near them. You talk because you need bread. You learn news because you walked past it. There is no effort required. As the light turns golden, the village quiets again. Doors open. Homes fill. Families gather. The market fades without ceremony. Soon, attention will turn inward once more. To rest. To reflection. To the slow closing of daylight. And so life continues. Not through grand moments, but through familiar exchange. One calm trade at a time. As daylight slowly fades, life does not stop. It just exhales. The sun lowers, the air cools, and the sharp edges of the day soften. In ancient Egypt, this is not a signal to rush home and disappear. It is a shift. A gentle one. Like loosening your sandals after walking all day. Leisure is not a special event here. It is woven into life, the same way work is. People do not say, "Now I will relax." They simply do. Music begins to drift through the air. Not loud. Not dramatic. No one is trying to impress anyone. A harp sounds nearby, its strings plucked slowly. A flute answers from another home. Somewhere, a small drum keeps time, steady and calm, like a heartbeat that knows exactly what it is doing. These instruments are simple. Wood, reeds, animal skin. But the sound they make fills the space between people. Music appears during celebrations, during family gatherings, and during religious moments. But sometimes, it appears for no reason at all. Someone feels like playing. So they do. Singing joins in. Voices rise together. Some are strong. Some are trying their best. But no one minds. There are no auditions. No judges. No one saying, "Maybe don't sing that part." Songs speak of things everyone knows. Love, work, the river, the gods. Nothing complicated. When voices blend, there is comfort in it. Shared sound makes the space feel full, even when the light is fading. Dance follows the music. But do not picture fast spinning or wild movement. This is not that. Dance here is gentle. Arms move slowly. Feet follow the rhythm without effort. Bodies sway, not perform. It is less about being seen and more about feeling the beat move through you. Like stretching after a long day. Leisure also appears in quieter ways. Board games are popular. People sit together around small boards, carved from wood or drawn onto stone surfaces. The most common games are Senet and Mehen. The pieces are simple, small, smooth from use. The game moves slowly. No one slams pieces down. No one flips the board in frustration. Each turn is taken with patience. These games are more than something to pass time. They teach strategy. They teach balance. They teach acceptance. Sometimes you win. Sometimes you lose. Sometimes the pieces just refuse to cooperate, and that is life. People smile. They shrug. They play again tomorrow. As the evening deepens, storytelling begins. Not written stories. Spoken ones. Stories passed from mouth to ear, again and again, until they become part of memory. Someone tells a myth about the gods. Someone else adds a detail. Another laughs softly and corrects it. Stories of ancestors appear. Stories of things that happened long ago. Stories of something funny that happened earlier that day. The tone is calm. No dramatic pauses. No big speeches. The purpose is not performance. It is connection. Children listen closely. They sit nearby, eyes open, absorbing everything. No one says, "This is a lesson." But lessons are there. How to act. What to respect. What matters. Festivals bring brighter moments. On special days, the routine bends a little. The community gathers. Food is shared more freely. Music lasts longer. Offerings are made to the gods. There is color. There is laughter. But even festivals stay grounded. This is not chaos. Joy and reverence exist together. People celebrate, but they remember why. Pleasure does not replace balance. It supports it. Leisure here is not about escape. No one is trying to forget their life. They are resting inside it. In a world shaped by nature and divine order, rest is necessary. Too much work throws things off. Too much indulgence does the same. Ma'at depends on balance. As the sky deepens, blues and oranges fade into darker tones. Lamps begin to glow softly. Music slows. Voices lower. People sit. They lean back. They breathe. There is contentment here. Not excitement. Not boredom. Just a quiet sense that the day was enough. Leisure in ancient Egypt does not distract from life. It enhances it. It smooths the edges. It reminds people that work and rest belong together. And as evening reaches its calm peak, the day gently steps aside. Night is coming. Unrushed. Expected. Welcome. The world grows still, ready to begin again tomorrow. As evening settles fully across the land, attention turns toward something unseen. Not because someone announces it. Not because bells ring. It just happens. In ancient Egypt, religion does not wait for a special hour. It does not knock. It does not demand silence. It simply flows into the space left behind when the day slows down. The gods are everywhere. Not hiding in the sky. Not locked inside temples. They live in the river that fed the fields. In the sun that warmed the skin. In the soil that held the seeds. In the walls of the home that kept the heat away. The gods are familiar forces. Known. Expected. Almost like neighbors who are always around but never intrusive. Each god represents something real. The sun. The cycle of life. Protection. Truth. Order. Together, they hold the world steady. Most people do not enter grand temples. Those places are busy with priests, rituals, schedules, and rules. Important, yes, but not necessary for daily devotion. Religion at home is simpler. In many houses, a small shrine sits quietly in a corner. It does not glow. It does not call attention to itself. A small figurine. A painted symbol. Sometimes just a carved shape or an amulet placed carefully. It is not fancy, but it is enough. As evening comes, offerings are made. A piece of bread left gently nearby. A cup of beer poured slowly. A flower placed with care. No one rushes. No one says, "This must be perfect." Prayers are spoken softly. There are no official scripts. No memorized speeches. People speak the way they always do. They ask for protection. They ask for health. They ask for balance. No one asks to rule the world. No one asks for piles of gold. Mostly, they ask for tomorrow to work the way today did. The idea of Ma'at sits quietly beneath everything. Truth. Order. Balance. Ma'at is not loud. It does not threaten. It does not punish loudly or reward dramatically. It simply exists. To live well is to live in harmony with it. Good behavior is not driven by fear. It is guided by understanding. If you act with balance, the world stays balanced. If you disrupt it, things feel off. People notice. Every small action matters. How you treat your family. How you share food. How you work. How you rest. Nothing is too small. Amulets are always close. They hang from necks. They are sewn into clothing. They rest against the skin. An eye for protection. A scarab for renewal. A symbol of a god for guidance. They do not control fate. They do not guarantee anything. They reassure. They remind people they are not alone. Festivals bring religion into the streets. On special days, statues of the gods are carried through the village. Music plays. Incense fills the air. People watch quietly. Some smile. Some bow their heads. Some simply stand and feel the moment. Even here, there is no chaos. Joy does not replace respect. Religion is not about fear. The gods are not waiting to strike. They are watching to maintain balance. Religion also shapes how people think about death. Death is not the end of the story. It is a doorway. Life continues beyond it, shaped by how well one lived according to Marat. This belief removes panic. People do not rush through life trying to avoid death. They live carefully instead. As darkness deepens, oil lamps are lit inside homes. Their soft glow fills the room, steady and warm. The light does not flicker wildly. It stays calm, like the presence of the divine itself. Families gather closer. The day is reviewed quietly. What went well? What could be better? What tomorrow may bring? There is gratitude for the sun that rose again, for the work that was finished, for the food that was enough. Religion does not interrupt life. It supports it. It does not shout. It whispers. And as night fully arrives, that whisper becomes comfort. The world feels held, balanced, in place. Sleep comes easily. The gods watch. The river flows. And peace settles in, right on time. Night arrives gently in ancient Egypt. There is no switch being flipped. No sudden darkness. No rush to finish everything. The day simply exhales. The sky slowly shifts into deep blues, then darker shades, until black feels soft instead of heavy. Stars appear one by one, like they are taking their time. No crowding. No drama. To the people below, these stars are not distant decorations. They are guides. Markers of time. Old friends that return every night, right on schedule. Homes begin to quiet. Inside the mud brick walls, oil lamps glow softly. The light is warm and steady, not bright enough to wake the whole village. Just enough to see familiar faces and familiar corners. Families gather closer without planning it. Voices lower. Movements slow. The day releases its grip. No one scrolls. No one checks the time. No one says, just one more thing. Sleep is not something to fight. It arrives when it is ready. Sleeping spaces are simple. Reed mats are unrolled across the floor. Low wooden beds sit against the walls. Everything smells faintly of oil, dust, and home. Pillows look strange to modern eyes. They are carved from wood or stone. Curved. Firm. Very firm. These are not designed for comfort in the modern sense. They are designed to support the neck, keep insects away from the face, and last a very long time. Luxury is not softness. Luxury is knowing what works. Before sleep, small rituals close the day. Nothing fancy. A short prayer whispered into the dim light. A pinch of incense burned slowly. An amulet placed near the mat, just in case the night gets ideas. These actions are not dramatic. They are habits. The same movements, every night, passed down without instruction. No one needs to explain why. It is just how things are done. Dreams matter here. Dreams are not brushed aside as nonsense. They are messages. Sometimes from the gods. Sometimes from the past. Sometimes from parts of the mind people do not fully name. Some people visit priests or elders to talk about dreams. Others simply carry them quietly through the day, thinking about them while grinding grain or walking the fields. Not every dream is important, but none are ignored. The night itself is not feared. Darkness is not an enemy. It is balance. Just as the sun must travel through the underworld before rising again, the human spirit must rest before waking. Nothing stays bright forever. Nothing should. Outside, the Nile continues to move. It does not pause for night. It flows slowly, reflecting starlight in broken lines. The river sounds the same as it did during the day. Calm. Reliable. Always there. Animals rest or move quietly. A dog shifts in the dust. An insect hums briefly, then stops. Somewhere far away, something unseen makes a soft sound and then disappears again. The land breathes. Stars move across the sky. People watch them without hurry. These lights help track seasons, guide travelers, and remind everyone that the world is larger than the village, larger than the river, larger than a single life. The sky is a map. Not one you read quickly. As sleep deepens, thoughts drift. Worries loosen their grip. Plans for tomorrow soften. The body sinks into stillness. This rest is deep, earned by routine rather than exhaustion. Night is not empty. It is full of quiet meaning. It protects. It restores. In these hours, the world feels held together by something steady and ancient. Nothing is falling apart. Nothing is demanding attention. The gods watch. The stars move. The river flows. And ancient Egypt sleeps, balanced perfectly between what was and what will be. With the passage of time, every life moves forward. In ancient Egypt, this is not surprising. It is not dramatic. It is not avoided. Aging is not hidden behind walls or pushed into silence. It happens out in the open, under the same sun that has always been there. Wrinkles appear. Hair turns gray. Movements slow down a little. No one panics. Elders remain part of daily life. They do not disappear from the household. They do not get sent away. They stay right where they have always been, close to family, close to routine, close to the center of things. An older man sits in the shade, watching children move back and forth. An older woman works slowly with her hands, still precise, still careful. Their presence brings weight, not heaviness. They are memory made visible. They remember floods that others do not. Harvests that failed. Years when the river rose high, or not enough. And because of this, people listen. As bodies age, work changes. Not everything needs strong arms. Some things need experience. Physical labor becomes lighter. Heavy lifting is passed on. Long days in the fields become shorter. But guidance increases. An elder shows where to plant, when to wait, when to stop. They watch. They advise. They notice small changes others miss. Their role does not end. It shifts. Illness is part of this stage of life, but also part of every stage. In ancient Egypt, sickness is not separated from the rest of existence. It is not only physical, and it is never just bad luck. Healing involves the body and the unseen. Doctors exist. They are practical people. Observers. Record keepers. They learn by watching what works. They write treatments on papyrus. They pass knowledge down carefully. Medicine is simple, but not careless. Honey is used to clean wounds. It keeps infection away. Willow helps with pain. Garlic supports strength and keeps the body fighting. Plants are not random here. They are chosen because someone tried them and they helped. Alongside this, words are spoken. Prayers. Incantations. Quiet phrases meant to restore balance. This is not superstition to them. This is completeness. You treat the wound. You also treat the space around it. Care is never solitary. The sick are not left alone unless they ask to be. Family members bring water. They bring food. They sit quietly nearby. Hands touch shoulders. Voices stay calm. Healing is not rushed. There is no clock ticking loudly. No one says, "You must be better by tomorrow." If recovery comes, it is welcomed. If it does not, acceptance follows. Pain is acknowledged, but not dramatized. There is strength in endurance here. Not loud strength. Quiet strength. Life expectancy varies. Some lives are short. Illness. Injury. Chance. Others last long enough to see many seasons pass. Old age is not guaranteed, but when it arrives, it is respected. Gray hair is not a failure. It is evidence. It means you stayed. You survived. You learned. An elder's face tells a story without words. As evening routines continue, elders often sit and observe. They have seen this rhythm before. The grinding of grain. The preparation of food. The soft gathering of family before night. They do not need to speak much. Their presence is enough. Sometimes a child sits beside them and asks a question. Sometimes no one speaks at all. Silence is comfortable. In a world guided by balance, aging is not loss. It is completion. Each stage of life has weight. None is rushed. None is skipped on purpose. The young bring energy. The middle years bring work. The later years bring understanding. All are needed. As night falls once more, elders rest the same way the young do. On familiar mats. Under familiar stars. With familiar sounds nearby. Sleep does not change with age. It still comes quietly. Each day, whether many or few, fits into the same steady flow. The river does not hurry. The stars do not rush. And neither do the people who have learned, slowly, how to grow old without fear. At the end of life, ancient Egypt does not turn away. It does not rush past the moment. It does not pretend nothing happened. Instead, it looks forward. Death here is not a sudden stop. It is a doorway. A careful step from one state of being into another. Familiar, ordered, and guided by the same balance that shaped life itself. When death arrives, it is met with respect. The body is washed gently. Hands move slowly. Nothing is careless. This body worked. It carried water, grain, children, years. It deserves care, even now. Family members gather close. There is grief. Of course there is. Tears fall. Voices break. But despair does not take over. Death is sad, but it is not shocking. It has always been part of the rhythm. Everyone has seen it before. Everyone knows it will come again. The soul continues. That is not a question here. The spirit moves onward, guided by divine order. Life beyond this one is not strange or chaotic. It mirrors the world already known. Fields exist. Work exists. Rest exists. Nothing is random. Preparation for the afterlife begins long before death. Even ordinary people plan when they can. A simple grave. A small space. A few objects set aside. The wealthy prepare larger tombs, carved and decorated, but the intention is the same. No one prepares to disappear. Objects are placed beside the dead. Food, so hunger will not follow. Tools, so work can continue. Personal items, so identity remains intact. These objects are not about showing status. They are about continuity. The heart is everything. It is not just an organ. It is memory, truth, intention. In the afterlife, the heart will be weighed against the feather of Ma'at. Not strength, not wealth, not titles. Balance. A life lived with harmony makes the heart light. A life lived carelessly makes it heavy. This idea shapes how people live long before death ever comes. Names matter deeply. To speak the name of the dead is to keep them alive. Names are written, spoken, remembered. Forgetting is the true loss. Because remembrance keeps the bond intact. Offerings continue after burial. Family members return with bread, beer, and quiet words. They speak to the dead as if they can hear, because they believe they can. The relationship does not end. Death is not feared. It is respected. It belongs to the same cycle as sunrise and sunset, labor and rest, flood and harvest. Nothing breaks the pattern. As this journey through daily life in ancient Egypt comes to a close, what remains is continuity. Each morning begins with the sun. Each night brings rest. Each life moves forward, whether here or beyond. The people of ancient Egypt do not try to conquer time. They do not race it. They do not fight it. They live within it. And in doing so, they find something rare: peace.